Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to this latest episode of The Rookie Entrepreneur. It's not going to be a super long one because I'm just on my way to a gig, so you'll be pleased about that. To update on where I am, so last month was pretty bad. I think I'd said I've been away all of January, didn't really have much opportunity other than last year to get work in for February, and there wasn't much chance of getting a lot more in once I was already back. February, quite a lot of transition in February, just kind of getting settled back into being back in the UK and not in Thailand, and being health not being brilliant physically, stuff like that, and just some change in personal circumstances as well for the better, but still things to get used to. So kind of March has been pretty good in terms of getting going, getting things done. Had hoped to have the diary filled by the end of December, didn't manage that. Then was aiming for end of February, didn't really manage that, but have kind of been able to say at the end of March I'm not really going to be going looking for more work for entertainment. Doesn't mean I wouldn't accept more, but I'm not going to be spending time going looking for more. Really switching my focus now to the car stuff, and so the car stuff just now. So in terms of that, have got a car in the unit, which is good, waiting to get worked on. Gonna start on that tomorrow. Don't have a gig tomorrow night, which is good. So got a paint correction, which will probably lead to doing paint work as well, but made sense to get the car looking as good as possible for a number of reasons, to figure out what we're going to paint. Won't bore you with details, but that's what made most sense, so that's what we're doing. And another one booked in for in between, probably finishing the paint correction on that and painting it, so that's quite good. So a little bit of stuff there, and that's without really having gone out looking for it much this year. So something else in the pipeline, which I will probably be up and running doing before the next episode, so I'll talk about that in the next episode. But that's a kind of different way that I'm probably going to be spending some of my time, and a good way of spending some of my time. So I'll say more about that. Target wise, as I said, I didn't set myself a monthly target. What I did say was I'd set a retained target, retention, and an overall target for the year. So probably did double in March what I did in February, but that's because February was really bad. So March, a bit more comfortable. Going into April, probably be able to pay myself a crappy salary this month, which is kind of what I was aiming for. But that'll be nearly a year of living on the absolute bare minimum, and investing as much as possible, and then not sure where the money coming from to pay this and whatever, just kind of juggling things to invest as much as possible. So that's a very aggressive investment strategy. I talked before in another episode about the way that rich people tend to, or wealthy people tend to divide up their income, and that's a more sensible way to do it. So I'm not going to keep on living on nothing and worrying about how I'm paying for things and investing everything, because it's not a very relaxed way to live, but it was a good way to go to start with. So I've done that for long enough to get into a better place, better position. So I'm going to start paying myself a crappy salary and doing what I talked about doing. So just to recap that, the percentages you can change them yourself, but roughly spending 60% of your income on necessities. For me, 10% giving away to people who need it, and that's something that's always been important. And 10% on savings, 10% investment, 10% play. So that's a way of dividing up your income. So that's how I will be dividing up the crappy salary that I'm going to be paying myself. And I'm grateful for that crappy salary, and it's crappy salary by choice, because the more money I keep in my business, the quicker I can grow things. So things are about to go up in the air again, but I don't really say much about that just now. But I'll probably only be paying myself a crappy salary for a month, and then things are going to get switched up quite a bit. But I can't really say more about that just now. So in terms of ideas for business, for somebody who's never had a business, maybe thinking about going into one, maybe some little helpful ideas or advice. Something I learned very early on when I was in the motor trade. I was, if not one of the youngest car sales execs in the UK when I was 18. Most people were about 24, 25 at that time before they got started. So they actually insured me daily through the rental insurance policy so I could get the job, which was awesome. And it was really nice that they had the confidence that they thought it was worth doing that, etc. And they did end up paying off quite well for them and for me, so that was awesome. But I did early on in that time learn that putting down the competition is not a good way of promoting yourself. Putting down the competition's product, so i.e. saying another car that somebody else is considering buying isn't that good for this reason or that reason, is not a good way of promoting your product or your service. That's not something I do. We're always tempted as people, as human beings, human nature, to criticize, but criticism just shows insecurity, and if you spend a lot of time criticizing other people or other business people or competition or whatever, then you're probably not very secure in yourself about your own talents and gifts and what you have to offer. So that's worth thinking about. If I have to talk about competition, I actually looked at an installation that someone else had done. So one of the things I do is AV installations, and I was able to compliment it on the fact that it was very neat. Was it the way I would have done it? Definitely not. Was it the most economical way of doing it? Don't know, because I don't know what they paid, but I think there might have been better ways of doing it, but at the end of the day I could compliment it on the fact that it was neat. I think that in general it's good to have a good working relationship with people that do the same thing as you do, work in your sector. You never know when it might be handy to have somebody help you out. You never know when you might be in a jam. In entertainment, that was always my attitude with other companies. Sometimes you get a call to see if you could cover something because they were struggling, or very rare occasions we would be struggling, need to call in a favour, or just some equipment's let you down or whatever. I don't see the competition as the enemy. I think that's a good way to look at them. I think that try and have a good relationship with competitors. Doesn't look good to customers if you're slagging the competition. Doesn't look good to customers if you have a poor relationship with your competition. What looks better is you're all doing your best to provide a good service, good products, good service to your customers, and you understand that it's the customer's choice as to where they go. So I think that's quite an important one, is don't put down, if you feel like you need to put down somebody else or something else, then maybe what you're offering isn't that good, or maybe you're not that good at what you do. Maybe you need to get better at it, or maybe you just need to understand that that's not a very good way of promoting yourself, and it won't do you any favours. I don't think I've experienced a lot of that, but I think in some parts of where I am just now in Angus, there are some pretty insecure people working in some of the same fields as I am, and if they can't say anything bad about you professionally, in terms of, they can't say you're not good at what you do, they just make crap up, which is the first time I've really experienced that. But I'm not going to go into detail, but yeah, it just reminded me that it's a very important thing, and people who are going into business for the first time, they might be a bit insecure. They're desperate to try and succeed with their product or whatever. They might be tempted to criticize other people. Don't do it. Best just don't do that. It's not very nice. It won't do you any favors. Focus on being the best that you can be at what you're doing. I find it amusing when other people try and kind of put you down in some way or criticize, because if they actually asked me why I was doing well in something, I would tell them. If they asked me for help, I would give them it if I could. And the only person I'm trying to be better than is myself yesterday. I'm only trying to do better than I was yesterday. And I always share information freely about how I've managed to succeed in things. And obviously I'm not going to tell someone if I've got some, I've various business ideas in mind that I could do locally once I have the funds. Obviously I'm not going to pass them over to people when I might do them, but if I decided not to do them, then yeah, I would. Potentially profitable ideas. But in terms of just, I think if you're quite secure in yourself and what you do, you don't really mind giving other people advice, and you're not really worried about competition because you're confident in what you do. The way I look at it is there's plenty of business for everyone, and if there isn't, then you're not being proactive enough in finding customers. That's the way I look at it. So hopefully that's a helpful one. I think it's super important, really, really important. Know your product extremely well, know all the features and benefits of it, give absolutely excellent service, go the extra mile, go beyond the extra mile. I know that people demand a lot these days. You have to be a lot more careful these days with reviews and things like that. And people, I don't know, I think maybe people are a bit more fickle, some people these days, but just focus on doing the absolute best that you can and getting other people to leave reviews about that so that other people can see, and don't waste your time talking about other people or what they're doing. Just focus on improving yourself, because I think if some people spent the energy that they spent on talking about other people on trying to improve themselves, they would have better lives and they wouldn't have time to talk about other people. So yeah, just important to focus on doing the best that you can do. Don't worry about other people, and if you can help somebody out along the way, then do. And yeah, share information freely if you can. Obviously not your next massive business idea that's going to make you rich, but yeah, if you can share it and it's helpful, then do. So I'm gonna leave it there. Not much more to say today, I don't think, and I need to head into the gig, but I expect there'll be an awful lot more of an update next month or at the end of this month. I think there's quite a lot going to happen this month, so that's good. So I look forward to catching up with you then. Take care, see you, bye.